Hello, everyone. This morning, oh man, it's a very beautiful day outside, and I hope that your week is off to a great start. We had a great men's meeting last night. Several men were out, and we enjoyed time of conversation, fellowship, and then prayer together. I'm looking forward to great things out of the men's ministry. Women's ministry will be along anytime now. Hopefully, ladies are communicating already, and we'll announce what's going on real soon. I want to talk to you about something that we all struggle with. Um, it's when God says no to something we feel like is obviously a great thing to do. David had this situation happen later in his years. He wanted to build the temple for the tabernacle of God, in place of the tabernacle of God. He wanted God to have a house to dwell in. He wanted the ark to be permanently placed. They were they were no longer nomadic, and so he felt like, wow, it'd be great to build the temple for the Lord. And even his closest advisor said, "Oh, this sounds like a great idea. Let's go for it. If you're going to build something beautiful for the Lord, just go for it." Well, that night, his closest advisor has a dream from the Lord, a vision from the Lord, and the Lord says, "No. You can't build the temple." I mean, who else would build the temple but David, the man after God's own heart? I mean, it just made sense that David would be the one to build the temple. But God had determined that because David was a man of war, that he could not do it. He was not the man. His hands were bloody. He had shed a lot of blood. And so God says, no, you can't be the one to build the temple. I'll let your son build it, but you can't. And what is beautiful about this is not that David wasn't allowed to. Obviously, that doesn't feel very good. But how David responded when God said no. I think we struggle when God says no. In fact, I think we're more likely to try to force a door open than to allow God to leave it closed. And so I want you to hear how David responds in 1 Chronicles chapter number 17. I'm going to drop in towards the end. He's been talking with God for a little while now. And at verse number 18, he starts to just simply lay it out. God, what can I do? I mean, you're the wise one. You're the powerful one. You're the good one. And so I just have to trust you. And so here's what he says. He says, what can David speak more to thee for the honor of thy servant? For thou knowest thy servant, O Lord, for thy servant's sake, and according to thine own heart, thou hast done all this greatness in making known all these great things. O Lord, there is none like thee, neither is there any God besides thee, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people Israel, whom God went to redeem to be his own people, to make thee a name of greatness and terribleness by dividing our nation from the people of the earth, and whom thou hast redeemed out of Egypt. For thy people Israel didst thou make thine own people forever, and thou, O Lord, becamest their God. Therefore now, Lord, let the thing that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house be established forever, and do as thou hast said. Let it even be established that thy name may be magnified forever, saying, the Lord of hosts is the God of Israel, even a God to Israel. And let the house of David thy servant be established before thee. For thou, O my God, hast told thy servant that thou wilt build an house. Therefore thy servant hath found in his heart to pray before thee. And now, Lord, thou art God, and hast promised this goodness unto thy servant. Now therefore let it please thee to bless the house of thy servant, and that it may be before thee forever. For thou blessed, O Lord, and it shall be blessed forever. What David's really speaking of is that in the process of this whole thing, David has promised that his son Solomon is going to build the house. And so David said, that's good enough for me. You're so good. You are so great. If you say my house will last long enough for my own son to be the one that gets to build the house, that's a blessing. And so he responds to God's no with great honor, dignity, and respect. And even his love for the Lord is built up even stronger in a no. And so I want to encourage you, listen, God says no to things. And he says no for reasons. In David's case, it was that, man, you're a man of war. I want a man of peace to build my temple, and you can't do it. But I'll let your son, who will be a man of peace, a very blessed man of peace, I'll let him do it. And so I want to encourage you with that. God may say no to you, but that no to you might be the great blessings of your heritage, your family line. And so never try to force a door open that God has closed, because what's on the other side of the door will be something that removes a blessing that you would rather have. And so let that be an encouragement to you. I hope that in your experience with God saying yes and no, that you can take both equally and understand that He is God and He loves you. Have a great day.